Hello everyone, Xandro Gaming coming at y'all with another video, and in today's video we're going to be doing some deck profiles for the Demon Slayer decks that are coming up in the upcoming Demon Slayer Volume 2 set. I'm going to do my favorite one first, which is Daki Gyutaro. I absolutely love this deck a lot. It is a lot of fun to play and it gets some much needed support. I'm going to go through this deck profile pretty quick because a lot of the decks or cards are not new, but I do think that this deck got a couple cards that help make it a lot more powerful, and maybe people will actually play it in the, upcoming meta in the game. But just going to run 4 of the specials here. It just says choose one character with 3,000 less BP on your opponent's front line and sideline it. So you always get to do that no matter what. And then if Gyutaro is on the field, 5,000 less. Special in life. Costs you 4 to play this one, so not as amazing. Not being able to get to, just use it for the 3 costs, which is okay. We're used to seeing this for 4 costs. And then obviously 4 of the special trigger or the final triggers here: 3 energy, 1 action point. Just put 2 AP back and final in life. I am choosing to run 1 of the Kyoku House. It just says activate main, switch to resting, sideline this card, add up to 1 Gyutaro Udaki card from your sideline to hand. I think seeing 1 of these in the deck is pretty good. I used to run 2, but I'm trying to make room for more of the character cards, and I think that this kind of helps me be able to do that. Just want to see it once, just to get a key piece back that I'm missing, and then be able to, pop off from there. Also running 2 of the Searcher card here. Now this says, we're always going to be together. I'm never going to leave you. Very sweet. This show does such an amazing job of just making all the bad guys seem so, humanistic and relatable, even though they're demons. But good story here. 2 energy, 1 action point. It is a draw trigger in life, so it's going to be easy to activate this card. It just says look at the top 7 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Gyutaro and up to 1 Daki card among them, and add them to your hand. Place remaining cards at the bottom of your deck. Really good. Could double hit on this card. Just helps you see some consistency in the deck. I was trying to run a little bit of a different package with some of the other raid characters, but this deck really just wants to focus on the Daki and Gyutaro combo that you can do in the deck. I do want to touch on one of the cards that we're running that's not a Daki or Gyutaro, which is going to be this Tione here. It's just a draw trigger in life, 0 drop, 1500 BP, and it just says when sideline, choose it to 1 character in your field and move it to the other line. You may choose 1 character on both your front and energy line and swap them. Just a good card for purple. I like this card a lot. There'll be some instances where you'll be able to want to move up a card on your back line to then get in another block, vice versa like that, right? 4 of the 0 drop Gyutaro, it just says activate main, pay 1 AP once per turn, draw a card. Now it does suck that he's not a trigger, but he is just a pay 1 AP, draw a card, which is pretty good on a body here if you are just kind of breaking up. Can't just fill your hand up with a lot of cards. And then the Daki Warabihime, which is just, her form that she's trying to fake to be in the show just to get trigger 1500 BP, which is nice to see. We are running a couple copies, I think just 2 of this now. I used to have this at a 4-0, but just running the Searcher or the sideline Daki down to a 2. 1 energy, 1 action point, 2000 BP, which does come up clutch. And just says when sideline, look at the top 6 cards of your deck. Reveal it to 1 Gyutaro card among them, add to your hand, place remaining cards above your deck. If you add a card to your hand, place 1 card from your hand to your sideline. This one does suck a little bit because you do have the sideline, and if I'm really trying to search, I'd rather just do it with the search card. But you do need Daki names, and then this one not having a trigger does kind of suck, but you just want to see some curving out, right? You can see here I'm only running 4 different ones, 10 zeros, so trying to still stay pretty low to the ground. Now this Gyutaro is really hard to put down to 2, but I had to because it doesn't have a trigger. It does say when played, if Daki's on your field, choose it 1 character 15 or more BP on your opponent's front line, and it loses 1000 BP. Just a good way to get over some of these big bodies. It does come up in a lot of instances, and like I said, we can recycle a lot of the cards with the Kyoku House, and we have ways to get cards back to my hand. And then we are running 3 of this Daki, which is a really, really good card for the deck, a welcome addition. 2 energies, 1 action point, draw trigger in life, 3000 BP for a 2 drop, which is amazing. And she says activate main, choose 1 non-rated Daki with raid on your front line, switch it to active and place this character face up underneath it. It becomes rated. This is so important for you to be able to then swing with those Dakis that you're able to play out. And then also, just make her rated again, which you can just get her effect again. A couple copies of this particular Gyutaro, 4 copies actually. This is one of the more important cards. This is our only double energy generator in the deck, so you do want to see at least 1 on the back line. 2 is pretty good, but you need to see this guy. I really wanted to keep the triggers a little higher, so there wasn't a lot of other double energies I could run in the deck. And the deck is just 4 energy. A lot of times you're going to be sitting at 3 and 2 until you really want to pop off on the 4. So a lot of cases you do just need one of these. But he just says, when played, if Daki's on your field, draw 1, trash 1. He's an active trigger in life. 3000 BP double energy generator. Really good card. One of the few cards I think has to stay at a 4 because you need to find this card. 3 of the double action point Daki. I know a lot of people don't play this card, but I feel like this card helps you keep pace in the game. 3 energy, 2 action point Daki. She's an active trigger in life, so you don't mind playing 3 copies of this card because active triggers in this deck are very, very important for you to be able to block out. 3000 BP. She doesn't come in active, but she says when played and when sideline, right? So you're getting 2 bodies for the price of this 1 card. It's not just it replacing itself. Play up to 1 Gyutaro card with 3 or less required energy. 1 AP cost from your sideline set to active onto your front line, which is really important. You know, being able to get this Gyutaro down, which just says then when played, if you have the Daki, to reduce up to 1000. Now that's the main combo you want to do with the deck. I know going down to 2 on this Gyutaro isn't great, but it is what it is. It just doesn't have a trigger. I wish it did. If it had like a Git, I'd definitely have this one maxed out as well. But that's kind of the plays you want to do with this Daki, so then you can reduce something down enough for you to be able to block through. And it's when played and when sideline. So you play her, you get to do it. And then if you block with her, you get to play one and then minus something and let you get another block in. So she's really a 1, card double action point for 3 bodies, essentially. So you're not really losing a body out on this one. Unless they, return her to your hand, then that would feel really, really bad. But this is one of the more important cards of the deck, and I think it has to be a 3 of. I did take her down to a 3 of because I just feel like the double action points do get to be a lot because we are running, obviously, the other double action points. Now, this is the best card in the deck, which is Daki. 3 energy, 1 action point. I love the art on this card. So beautiful. Really, really pretty card. You just raid her on Daki, 3500 plus BP. Raid in life, and she says, during your turn, if Gyutaro is on your field, she gains 500 BP. We know how powerful 3 energy 4K swingers are. And she just says, when sideline, if Gyutaro is on your field, you may place 1 card from your hand into your sideline. If you do, play this card set to resting on to your front line. So when she gets sideline, you trash a card as long as you got Gyutaro and she'll come out. And that's where this card comes in key here because she says activate main. Choose 1 non-rated Daki with raid on your front line. Switch it to active. Then place this card face down underneath it. There may be some cases where you do just have to hard play the Dakis. So you have multiples in your hand. Play them on the front line. You only have 3 energy. Use this character from your back line to then stand one of them up to be able to attack, which is really good to be able to then be able to play her back. So you can see how these Dakis are going to keep staying on the board. This is definitely the most important card of the deck. The Gyutaro, obviously, very, very important too. 4 energy, 1 action point, raid in life, 4000 BP. This is your finisher and card value. Once per turn, when this character attacks and wins a battle, switch it to active. So your opponent does not want to block this card because it's going to get to swing again. It's like a pseudo double attacker. It says when attacking is Daki's on your field, you draw a card. Now this is how you fuel keeping cards in your hand to be able to trash for your Daki effects. Your opponent's not going to block this character because then it just lets you get 2 different swings, 2 different draws. A lot of times this is like a guaranteed damage. If your opponent does block this character, they're just giving you so much value that they don't need to be doing. And you have ways to reduce their 5000 BP bodies down to the 3500 BP threshold, or even 4000 BP threshold, so then you're able to swing in. This guy is really, really good. Having multiple of these on the board is insane because then you could just really flood the board with your Dakis and Gyutaros. Now, I am still running 4 of this Gyutaro. The main reason because it is the color trigger in the deck. It is also 4000 BP, 4 energy to play, 2 action points. It says when played, if on the front line, choose 1 character with 3000 less BP on your opponent's front line and sideline it. You can combo this up with the other Gyutaros to reduce BP down a little bit further to then be able to pop up this Gyutaro, but that's not so much the theme of this deck anymore. It is really good at clearing small bodies, but the theme of the deck is definitely more of an aggro value-based game and not so much control trying to pop your opponents, because that playstyle is pretty good. You can still do it in the deck a little bit, but the way that this deck really thrives is by just, playing out a bunch of bodies and swinging through on your opponent. When sideline, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Daki card among them and add it to your hand. Place remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. If you add a card to your hand, place some card of your hand to your sideline. I hate that he has to trash something because it's when he's sideline searcher, which doesn't feel great, but it is also just a consistency piece. He could have just had the effect to blow something up, but he does have the added effect that when he does die, that you're able to then get a Daki, search it to be able to further your plays. Still a key card that you want in the deck. You just need another 4K body. Now, getting on to the new Daki we got. This card is so amazing. We're running 3 of this particular card. I was trying to find a way to fit 4 of it, but I do think the Kyoku house is pretty important. And if you want to take this down to 0 to play another Daki, I think you could definitely do that. But I like that this card stays on your energy line and forever until you just really need to see that extra Gyutaro Daki card. And I think getting that cycling piece is a little more important than running 4 copies of her. But let's get into what she does. She just says if Gyutaro is on your field, choose up to 1 character, 1500 more BP on your opponent's front line, and it loses 1000 BP for the turn when played, right? So you can play her down and then play the Gyutaro, which will then let you pop something. Now, they'll both come in not active, which is a little unfortunate, but either way, still some good control power in the deck. I do wish that these characters just were a little more generic with the -15, and it doesn't have to be 15 or more to make it lose 1000, but it is what it is. But she is one of your game finishers that helps you then go in with the other Gyutaro. It says activate mana on the front line, pay 1 AP once per turn. Choose 1 Gyutaro on your field, it gains impact +1 until the end of the turn, which is really, really strong. You can have her out and then have the pseudo double attacker Gyutaro when you swing in. That is going to be 2 guaranteed checks with this card because you're essentially going to be 2 guaranteed attacks because or at least 1, right? Because your opponent's just not going to block it, right? And he'll have the impact 1, but just make sure that you get that damage in, which is really, really good. But you do have to decide to do that before you go into combat. You can't just do it afterwards, but still a really important. Regardless, she's just a 4K body that comes down, which is really good. Now, the one thing you do have to watch out for in this deck is that you can only really, you know, refuel your 3 drops over here, and that's why we're trying to stay at a pretty decent count on all these cards, and I really wish I could find more space to fit these 2 drops and the 1 drop in here, but it is what it is. I do think that this is a really strong aggro deck, and you do have to see some pieces in it, and I don't think it's as resilient as the Tanjiro Nezuko deck by any means, but I do think it is good enough for you to take a look at it, and I love Daki and Gyutaro. This and Tengen are definitely my 2 favorite decks from the archetype of the Demon Slayer set, and I'm happy to see them both get some support. I think that these cards do make Gyutaro and Daki a little bit better, and I am excited to get some games in with them once this set comes out. But you guys, let me know what y'all think about this deck profile in the comments down below. Are y'all excited for this deck? I know I am. I love Daki. She's one of my favorite characters as far as the bad guys in the show. And her relationship with her brother is really, really cool. And it was an amazing fight. I think that's probably the peak part of the show. But leave down in the comments what decks y'all are looking forward to. I will be making more Demon Slayer deck profiles. But please leave the video a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me today. Peace.